You've been following rules your entire life that actually make zero logical sense. Starting at not to 50 and counting down to the most mind-blowing rule that 99% of people still believe, including one that could literally be costing you thousands of dollars every year. Get ready to question everything you thought you knew, because by the time we reach number 1, your whole worldview might just flip upside down. Number 50. Don't swim for 30 minutes after eating. Everyone's heard this poolside commandment, right? Your parents insisted you'd get cramps and drown if you dared enter the water with a full stomach. But here's what really happens. Absolutely nothing. This myth started in 1908 when the Boy Scouts Handbook warned against it with zero scientific evidence. The theory was that blood would rush to your digestive system, leaving your muscles without enough oxygen. Reality check. Your body has more than enough blood to digest and swim simultaneously. Professional swimmers literally eat. During long-distance swims, Michael Phelps consumed 12,000 calories daily during training, often eating right before swimming. The only risk? Maybe feeling a bit sluggish, just like you would doing any exercise after a meal. Your biggest danger at the pool isn't a full stomach, it's slipping on wet concrete. Number 49. Cracking your knuckles causes arthritis. Your grandmother just cringed, didn't she? But Dr. Donald Unger performed one of science's most dedicated experiments. He cracked only his left hand's knuckles for 60 years to prove this wrong. Result? No arthritis in either hand. He even won an Ig Nobel Prize for his dedication to debunking this myth. That popping sound that makes everyone around you uncomfortable? It's just gas bubbles in your synovial fluid bursting. Completely harmless. Multiple studies involving thousands of people confirmed zero connection between knuckle cracking and arthritis. The worst outcome? Maybe looser grip strength over decades, but even that's debated. Though it might annoy everyone around you, your joints are safe. Crack away, you rebel. Number 48. You need 8 glasses of water a day. This rule has zero scientific backing, yet spawned a multi-billion-dollar bottled water industry. It originated from a 1945 Food and Nutrition Board recommendation that ignored one crucial detail. We get water from food, too. That apple you ate? 84% water. That chicken breast? 65% water. Coffee, tea, juice, milk, fruits, vegetables all count toward hydration. The original recommendation actually said most of this quantity is contained in prepared foods. But everyone ignored that part. Your body has a sophisticated built-in hydration sensor that's been perfected over millions of years of evolution. It's called thirst. Unless you're an athlete or in extreme heat, trust it. Studies show forcing yourself to drink when not thirsty can actually lead to hyponatremia, dangerously low sodium levels. Number 47. 5-second rule for dropped food. Bad news, Butterfingers. Bacteria don't check their watches. Researchers at Rutgers University found that contamination happens instantly on contact. They tested watermelon, bread, butter, and gummy candy on various surfaces. The shocking results? Bacteria transfer ranged from 0.0% to 99.9%. Immediately, no waiting period. The type of food and surface matter way more than time. Wet food on carpet? Bacteria paradise with over 90% transfer rate. Dry cracker on kitchen tile? Still instant contamination, just less of it, around 0.1%. But here's the plot twist. Unless you dropped it in raw chicken juice, most household bacteria won't hurt you anyway. Your immune system deals with worse every time you touch a doorknob. Number 46. Don't go outside with wet hair, you'll catch a cold. Your immune system doesn't care about your hairstyle or its moisture content. Colds are caused by over 200 different viruses, mainly rhinoviruses, not by temperature or wet hair. This myth persists because we spend more time indoors during winter, sharing recycled air and germs in close quarters. Studies where volunteers sat in cold rooms with wet hair showed no increased infection rates compared to warm, dry-haired control groups. One theory suggests the myth started because people feel cold with wet hair, and feeling cold is also a symptom of getting sick. Classic correlation without causation. The only thing wet hair gives you? wet hair, and maybe a bad hair day if it freezes, but your immune system remains unimpressed. Number 45. Wait an hour between eating and brushing teeth. Dentists now say this is backwards for most foods. The real rule depends on what you ate. Sugary foods? Brush immediately to prevent bacteria from producing acid. But here's the twist. After acidic foods like citrus, soda, wine, or tomatoes, you should wait 30-60 minutes. Why? Acid temporarily softens your enamel, and brushing immediately can actually scrub it away. Most people have it completely reversed, waiting after cake but brushing right after orange juice. Your mouth's pH drops below 5.5 after acidic foods, and enamel starts demineralizing. Saliva naturally neutralizes acid and remineralizes teeth within 30-60 minutes. So the one-size-fits-all rule? Completely useless. Know your foods, time your brushing accordingly. Number 44, reading in dim light ruins your eyes. Your eyes might feel tired, but permanent damage? Absolutely not. Our ancestors read by candlelight and firelight for thousands of years without an epidemic of blindness. Eye strain is temporary, like muscle fatigue after exercise. When you read in dim light, your pupils dilate and your eye muscles work harder to focus, causing fatigue. But here's the fascinating part. This actually strengthens your eye muscles, just like lifting weights strengthens your arms. Studies on medical students who spend years reading in various lighting conditions show no higher rates of vision problems. The worst outcome? Temporary headache or fatigue that disappears after rest. Your eyes are remarkably adaptable. They can adjust to starlight or bright sunshine, a range of over 10 billion to 1. Number 43. Breakfast is the most important meal. This fact was literally invented by cereal companies in the 1940s as a marketing campaign. Dr. John Harvey Kellogg, yes, that Kellogg, pushed breakfast cereals as health food, despite loaded sugar content. No peer-reviewed research shows breakfast timing is universally most important. Intermittent fasting research reveals many people thrive skipping breakfast entirely, improving insulin sensitivity, increasing human growth hormone, and enhancing cellular repair. Studies on breakfast skippers show equal or better weight management compared to breakfast eaters. The Spanish eat dinner at 10 p.m. and light breakfast. Are they unhealthy? The truth, meal timing is highly individual. Your circadian rhythm, activity level, and genetics determine optimal eating windows. Your body's needs are unique, not dictated by Kellogg's marketing department or the bacon industry that joined the breakfast propaganda in the 1920s. Number 42, don't wake a sleepwalker. Actually, not waking them is dangerous. They could walk into traffic, fall downstairs, or worse. The myth started because people thought sudden waking would cause heart attack or psychological damage. Reality? They'll just be confused and groggy for a few seconds. Same as waking anyone from deep sleep. Sleepwalking occurs during non-REM sleep when the brain is partially awake but consciousness is offline. The safest approach? Gently guide them back to bed using calm voice and minimal physical contact. If you must wake them, do it gently. The real danger isn't to the sleepwalker's heart. It's to their physical safety while unconsciously navigating a world full of stairs, cars, and swimming pools. Fun fact, 15% of kids sleepwalk, but most outgrow it. Adults who sleepwalk often have underlying sleep disorders worth investigating. Number 41. Sitting too close to the TV damages your eyes. This warning originated in the 1960s when some General Electric TVs emitted excessive radiation, up to 100,000 times recommended levels. GE recalled 90,000 sets, but the myth stuck. Modern screens, completely safe at any distance. They emit only light, not harmful radiation. Kids sit close because they have better accommodation, focusing ability, than adults. They can focus clearly at 2 to 3 inches, while adults need 4 to 5 inches minimum. It's actually a sign of good vision, not bad habits. Studies on children who sit close to screens show no increased rates of vision problems. The worst outcome? A stiff neck or temporary eye strain. Ironically, being too far from screens might cause more strain as you squint to see details. Sit wherever feels comfortable. Your eyes will be fine. Number 40, you lose most body heat through your head. The military manual that started this myth only studied people wearing Arctic survival suits, except for their heads. Of course, the uncovered part loses more heat. It's like saying you lose most water through holes in your bucket. The truth? You lose heat equally from any exposed skin, about 40 watts per square meter. A naked head loses about 7 to 10% of body heat, not the claimed 40 to 80%. Your head feels cold because it has more nerve endings and less fat insulation, not because it's a heat loss superhighway. The myth persists because hat companies love it, and it feels true on cold days. In reality, exposed legs lose far more total heat due to larger surface area. The Army corrected their manual in the 1970s, but the myth had already spread. Wear a hat if you're cold, but don't skip pants thinking your head is the problem. Number 39, gum takes 7 years to digest. Your stomach doesn't digest gum, true, but it doesn't set up a 7-year residence either. It passes through your system in 1 to 3 days just like other indigestible items. Corn kernels, seeds, or fiber. The synthetic rubber base in gum resists digestive enzymes, but your digestive tract doesn't care. It moves everything along via peristalsis. Pediatric gastroenterologists occasionally see gum in colonoscopies, but it's recent gum, not vintage pieces from years past. The 7-year myth likely started to scare kids from swallowing gum. The real danger? Swallowing massive amounts that could cause blockages. Doctors have removed gum, bezoars, masses, from kids who swallowed multiple pieces daily. One 4-year-old had a gum mass blocking their intestines from swallowing 5 to 7 pieces daily. But a single piece? It'll see daylight in 40 hours, not 7 years. Number 38. Shaving makes hair grow back thicker. If this were true, balding would be solved by now. Every bald man would just shave their remaining hair and wait for thick regrowth. Shaving cuts hair at its thickest point, the shaft, making regrowth appear coarser because you're seeing the blunt end instead of the natural taper. But it doesn't change follicles, growth rate, thickness, or color. Scientists have measured this extensively, using microscopes to count hairs and measure diameter. Zero difference. Hair thickness is determined by genetics and hormones, not by cutting. The myth persists because stubble feels coarser than longer hair, and because teenagers often start shaving as their hair naturally thickens during puberty. Classic false correlation. Waxing doesn't make hair thinner either, though repeated waxing can damage follicles over many years. Number 37, lightning never strikes twice. Tell that to the Empire State Building, struck 20+ times yearly on average. Park Ranger Roy Sullivan was hit 7 times between 1942 and 1977, earning the nickname Human Lightning Rod. He survived all strikes but eventually died by suicide, reportedly from unrequited love, not lightning damage. Lightning follows the path of least resistance, using the same routes repeatedly. Tall objects, metal structures, and elevated areas get hit repeatedly because physics doesn't change between strikes. The myth exists because lightning strikes seem rare and random to humans. In reality, lightning strikes Earth 100 times per second, about 8 million times daily. If you're the tallest object around, you're a repeat target. The odds of being struck once? 1 in 15,000 lifetime. Twice? Still higher than winning the lottery. Number 36. Feed a cold, starve a fever. This medieval advice could actually harm you. Your body needs nutrients to fight all infections, whether viral or bacterial. The confusion came from observing that sick people often lose appetite. But that's your body redirecting energy to immune function, not a dietary prescription. Modern research shows eating during illness provides energy for immune cells and materials for antibody production. Starvation weakens immune response and prolongs illness. The saying might have originated from the belief that eating raises body temperature, true slightly, and avoiding food lowers it. But fever is your body's defense mechanism. Lowering it often prolongs illness. Studies show mice with bacterial infections survive better when fed, while those with viral infections showed mixed results. Bottom line, eat if hungry, don't if not. Stay hydrated either way. Your body knows what it needs. Number 35, you must wash chicken before cooking it. This clean habit actually spreads salmonella and campylobacter everywhere. Water splashes bacteria up to 3 feet around your sink, onto counters, dishes, towels, and you. The USDA specifically warns against washing raw chicken. Here's why. Cooking to 165 degrees Celsius kills all bacteria anyway, making washing pointless. But splashing spreads live bacteria to surfaces that won't be cooked. Studies using glow-in-the-dark tracers showed bacteria spread to surfaces people didn't even realize got wet. One study found 60% of sinks still contaminated after washing chicken, even with subsequent cleaning. The practice persists from decades ago when visible dirt and feathers needed removal. Modern processed chicken is already cleaned. That slimy feeling? It's protein, not dirt. Professional chefs and food safety experts never wash chicken. Pat it dry with paper towels if you must do something. Number 34, red cars get more speeding tickets. Insurance companies perpetuated this myth to justify higher premiums on sporty cars that happen to often be red. Studies examining hundreds of thousands of traffic stops show no correlation between car color and tickets. The real factors? Car model. Sports cars and modified vehicles get more attention. Driver demographics. Young males get more tickets regardless of car color. And location. Some areas have stricter enforcement. A gray Lamborghini gets more tickets than a red minivan. Interestingly, white cars actually have the highest accident rates. They blend with cloudy skies and snowy conditions. Red cars are statistically safer due to high visibility. The myth persists because red is associated with aggression and speed in our culture, and confirmation bias makes us notice red sports cars getting pulled over while ignoring all the red sedans driving peacefully by. Number 33. Antibacterial soap is better than regular soap. The FDA found zero evidence that antibacterial soap works better than regular soap for consumer use. Worse, it might create resistant superbugs and destroy beneficial bacteria. Regular soap doesn't kill bacteria. It physically removes them through surfactant action, breaking the bonds between bacteria and skin. Studies show 30 seconds of regular soap removes 99.9% of bacteria, identical to antibacterial soap. The antibacterial chemicals, usually triclosan, need 2 to 3 minutes of contact to work. Nobody washes hands that long. These chemicals accumulate in waterways, harm aquatic life, and potentially disrupt human hormones. They also kill beneficial skin bacteria that fight off harmful invaders. In 2016, the FDA banned 19 antibacterial chemicals from consumer soaps. The antibacterial soap industry? A multi-billion-dollar scam based on fear, not science. Number 32. Turn off electronics during thunderstorms. Modern electronics have surge protectors, grounding, and circuit breakers. The real danger? Corded phones. Who still has those? And plumbing. Metal pipes conduct electricity from ground strikes. Your laptop isn't attracting lightning through Wi-Fi signals. This rule made sense with 1950s electronics that lacked protection and used vacuum tubes sensitive to power surges. Today's devices handle voltage fluctuations. The bigger risk is power surges through electrical lines, but that's what surge protectors prevent. Unplugging during storms protects against power surge damage, not lightning strikes. Your phone, tablet, or laptop running on battery? Perfectly safe. The myth persists because people conflate indoor safety with outdoor rules. Using a plugged-in device doesn't increase strike risk. Being the tallest object outside does. Want real storm safety? Avoid plumbing and windows, not your Netflix binge. Number 31. Drink milk for strong bones. Countries with highest dairy consumption have the highest osteoporosis rates. The calcium paradox. Sweden, Finland, and the US lead in both dairy intake and hip fractures. Meanwhile, Asian and African countries with minimal dairy have lowest fracture rates. Why? The calcium-bone connection isn't that simple. High animal protein intake, including dairy, creates acidic blood pH. Your body neutralizes acid by leaching calcium from bones, defeating the purpose. Exercise, vitamin D, K2, magnesium, and genetics matter more than calcium intake. Many vegetables provide better absorbed calcium than milk. Kale has 40% absorption versus milk's 30%. The dairy industry spent decades and billions promoting the calcium myth while ignoring contradicting research. Harvard's Nurses' Health Study, following 77,000 women, found no evidence that dairy reduces fracture risk. Some studies suggest it increases risk. Number 30, blood is blue in your veins. Look at your veins. They appear blue, right? But your blood is never blue, not even for a microsecond. Deoxygenated blood is dark red, not blue. Oxygenated blood is bright red. The blue appearance results from how light penetrates skin. Red wavelengths penetrate deeper, while blue wavelengths reflect back from veins near the surface. It's an optical illusion, like how the ocean looks blue but water is clear. Medical students are shocked seeing dark red blood drawn from veins. Every anatomy textbook showing blue veins? Artistic license for clarity, not reality. The myth persists because it seems logical. Veins look blue, so blood must be blue, right? Even some teachers spread this myth. Fun fact, some animals do have blue blood. Horseshoe crabs use copper-based hemocyanin instead of iron-based hemoglobin. But humans? Always red, just different shades. Number 29, we only use 10% of our brains. Brain scans show we use virtually 100% of our brains, just not all at once. That would be a seizure. Even simple tasks activate multiple brain regions. PT and fMRI scans show the entire brain has activity throughout the day. The myth persists because it sells self-help books and makes people feel they have untapped potential. Damage to any brain part causes noticeable effects. If 90% were unused, brain damage would rarely matter. Evolution doesn't maintain expensive organs. The brain uses 20% of body's energy if they're 90% useless. The myth might stem from William James saying people achieve only 10% of their potential. Very different from using 10% of brain tissue. By the 10% logic, removing 90% of your brain should be harmless. Neurosurgeons strongly disagree. We're already using our full neural potential. Sorry, no secret superpowers waiting to be unlocked. Number 28, goldfish have 3-second memories. Goldfish can remember things for months, even years. They recognize faces, can be trained to navigate mazes, respond to different colors, and show excitement at feeding time by swimming to specific tank areas. The myth lets people feel better about keeping goldfish in tiny, boring bowls. Reality: goldfish are smarter than many higher animals. Studies show they can be trained to push levers, play soccer, and distinguish between different music genres. They remember feeding schedules, recognize up to 40 different human faces, and can be taught to swim through hoops. One study trained goldfish to navigate mazes. They remembered the solution 3 months later. Their memory capacity rivals some birds and mammals. That goldfish swimming in circles? It's bored out of its mind in a tiny bowl, not forgetful. In proper environments, goldfish display complex social behaviors and problem-solving abilities. Number 27. Touching toads gives you warts. Warts come from human papillomavirus, HPV, not amphibians. HPV is species-specific. Human viruses don't infect toads and vice versa. This myth started because toad skin looks warty, but those bumps are parotid glands that secrete bufatoxins for defense. You might get poisoned touching certain toads, especially cane toads. But warts? Biologically impossible. HPV spreads through human-to-human contact, particularly in warm, moist environments like pools and showers. There are over 130 HPV types causing different warts on different body parts. Toads have exactly 0 of them. The myth persists because correlation seems like causation. Kids who play outside catching toads also play in environments where they encounter HPV. Medieval people blamed toads for everything from warts to witchcraft. Poor toads, they're actually beneficial, eating thousands of insects yearly. Number 26, hair and nails grow after death. This creepy fact is an optical illusion that fooled even medical professionals for centuries. After death, skin dehydrates and retracts, pulling back from hair and nail bases, making them appear longer. Nothing grows without blood flow, oxygen, and glucose. Death stops all cellular activity. The myth persists because it's perfectly spooky for horror stories, and because funeral directors sometimes saw this illusion before modern embalming. Skin can shrink 1 to 2 millimeters, creating noticeable growth appearance. Hair needs active follicles producing keratin. Nails need living matrix cells. Both require extensive metabolic processes impossible in corpses. What does happen after death? Gut bacteria go wild, producing gases that bloat bodies. But growing hair and nails? Pure fiction. Even vampire stories get this wrong. If vampires were real, they'd need haircuts, not grow flowing locks in coffins. Number 25, sugar makes kids hyperactive. Scientists have tested this exhaustively in double-blind studies. Zero link found. The sugar rush is 100% parental expectation bias. When parents think kids had sugar, they rate behavior as more hyperactive, even with placebos. One study gave kids sugar-free drinks but told parents it contained sugar. Parents reported increased hyperactivity that didn't exist on objective measures. The real culprit? Exciting situations where sugar is served. Parties, holidays, special treats create excitement attributed to sugar. Additionally, parents pay closer attention after kids eat sugar, noticing normal energetic behavior they'd usually ignore. Meta-analysis of 16 studies found sugar doesn't affect behavior or cognitive performance. The myth persists because it feels true and gives parents a scapegoat for normal childhood energy. Ironically, believing the myth might create hyperactivity through expectation and increased attention-seeking behavior. Number 24, carrots improve night vision. British WW2 propaganda created this myth to hide their radar technology from Germans. They claimed pilots' incredible accuracy came from eating carrots, not secret radar systems. The Air Ministry spread recipes and growing tips, creating a nationwide carrot obsession. Vitamin A, which carrots provide via beta-carotene, helps maintain normal vision and prevents night blindness from deficiency. But extra vitamin A won't give you superpowers. Once needs are met, excess is stored or excreted. You'd need severe deficiency for carrots to noticeably improve vision. Eating excessive carrots? You'll turn orange, carotenemia, before gaining night vision. The myth worked brilliantly. Germans investigated British carrot consumption while radar remained secret. Today, 70+ years later, parents still push carrots for better vision. The real Bhasiwanan vision secret? Technology, not vegetables. Number 23. You need to drink milk when eating spicy food. Water makes spicy food worse by spreading capsaicin around your mouth like a grease fire. Capsaicin is oil-soluble, not water-soluble. Milk helps because casein proteins break down capsaicin, but so does any fat or alcohol. Ice cream, peanut butter, olive oil, or vodka work even better than milk. The absolute best remedy? Time. Capsaicin breaks down naturally in 15 to 20 minutes. Sugar also helps by competing for the same pain receptors. Bread works by physically removing capsaicin. But here's the kicker. Regularly eating spicy food desensitizes receptors, building tolerance. Those who grow up eating spicy food barely notice heat levels that destroy others. The milk myth persists because it partially works and fits cultural narratives. In reality, Indians often eat yogurt with spicy food for cooling and flavor balance, not just capsaicin relief. Number 22. Don't double dip chips. Mythbusters found double dipping adds barely more bacteria than single dipping. About 1,000 bacteria per milliliter of dip, compared to 500 from single dipping. Your mouth already touched the chip on the first bite, transferring bacteria. The bigger contamination source? The hands reaching into the bowl, averaging 50 to 100 times more bacteria than mouths. But here's the context. Your mouth contains 100 million bacteria per milliliter of saliva. A few thousand more? Negligible. The average doorknob has 10 times more bacteria than double-dipped salsa. However, it's still gross socially because disgust evolved to prevent disease spread, even if actual risk is minimal. The real issue isn't bacteria quantity, but type. If someone has strep or flu, that's different. But normal mouth bacteria? You encounter worse shaking hands. The study found bacteria levels in dip decreased after 2 hours as acid and salsa killed them. Number 21. Alcohol kills brain cells. Moderate alcohol doesn't kill brain cells. It temporarily disrupts connections between neurons. Even alcoholics show damaged dendrites, connection points, not dead cell bodies. The myth started from temperance movement propaganda and misinterpreted studies. Original research showed brain damage in alcoholics with nutritional deficiencies, particularly thiamine deficiency causing Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. The alcohol correlation was confused with causation. Heavy drinking does damage the hippocampus and cerebellum, but through inflammation and disrupted neurogenesis, not mast cell death. Your weekend beer? Not committing neural genocide. In fact, some studies suggest moderate drinking might protect against dementia through cardiovascular benefits. The real dangers of alcohol, liver damage, addiction, accidents, are serious enough without inventing brain cell massacres. Neurons are remarkably resilient. Otherwise, boxers would be vegetables after one fight. Number 20. Going out in cold weather makes you sick. We spend $3 billion yearly on cold remedies based on this myth, stocking up on vitamin C and echinacea when temperatures drop. Viruses cause colds, not temperature. Yale researchers put volunteers in cold rooms, wet clothes, and with chilled feet. No increased infection rates compared to warm control groups. We get more colds in winter because we're indoors together, windows are closed, humidity is low, helping viruses survive, and vitamin D levels drop from less sunlight. The cold-illness connection is pure correlation. Interestingly, some research suggests cold exposure might boost immunity by activating brown fat and increasing white blood cell production. The myth persists because getting chilled feels similar to early illness symptoms. Both activate similar neural pathways. Antarctic researchers isolated for months in extreme cold have fewer colds than normal because they're isolated from viruses. Bundle up for comfort, not disease prevention. Number 19. You need to change your oil every 3,000 miles. This costs Americans $2 billion in unnecessary oil changes yearly. Modern engines and synthetic oils last 7,500 to 10,000 miles under normal conditions. Many newer cars have 15,000-mile intervals. The 3,000-mile rule? Invented by oil change shops in the 1970s when oils and engines were primitive. It's like using 1970s medical advice today. Your car's manual specifies the correct interval based on extensive testing. Trust engineers, not Jiffy Lube. Following outdated advice wastes money, time, and creates unnecessary environmental waste. California alone generates 153 million gallons of waste oil annually, much from premature changes. Modern oils contain detergents, viscosity stabilizers, and anti-wear additives lasting far longer than old formulations. Oil analysis from engines shows minimal degradation at 3,000 miles. The myth persists through aggressive marketing and those annoying windshield stickers. Some shops have been caught lying about oil condition to sell unnecessary services. Number 18. Toilets flush opposite directions in different hemispheres. The Coriolis effect is real, but far too weak to affect toilets, sinks, or bathtubs. It influences large-scale phenomena like hurricanes and ocean currents over hundreds of miles. Your toilet? Water direction depends entirely on bowl design and water jet angles. The force needed to overcome toilet design is 10,000 times stronger than Coriolis forces. You could install identical toilets at the North Pole, Equator, and South Pole. They'd all flush the same direction. The myth persists because it sounds scientific, and people rarely test it properly. The Simpsons episode didn't help. Scientists have created controlled conditions removing other variables, using perfectly still water in large, symmetrical basins. Even then, detecting Coriolis effects requires hours of settling time and microscopic observation. Hurricanes? Yes, they rotate differently. Your bathroom? Physics doesn't care what hemisphere you're in. Number 17, MSG causes headaches. The Chinese restaurant syndrome was based on one anecdotal letter by Dr. Robert Homan Kwok in 1968 to the New England Journal of Medicine. He ate Chinese food and felt weird, blamed MSG with zero evidence. Decades of double-blind studies found MSG no more harmful than salt. It naturally occurs in tomatoes, 140 morid 100 gram, Parmesan cheese, 1200 milliliters, 100 gram, and breast milk, 22 milliliters, 100 milliliters more. Your body produces 40 grams daily. The racist myth persists despite overwhelming evidence. MSG is just sodium plus glutamate, an amino acid in virtually all proteins. Italian food often contains more free glutamate than Chinese food, but nobody gets Parmesan syndrome. Studies dosing people with massive MSG amounts found no consistent reactions. When told they're eating MSG, people report symptoms. When not told, no symptoms. The FDA, WHO, and every major health organization declared MSG safe. Yet the myth destroyed Asian restaurant businesses and perpetuates harmful stereotypes. Number 16, you must sleep 8 hours. Genetics determine your ideal sleep duration. The clock and period genes create individual variations. Some people have short sleep genes thriving on 4 to 6 hours. Others need 9 to 10. Before artificial light, humans slept in 2 4-hour chunks with 1 to 2 hours of wakefulness between, for activities like reading, praying, or sex. This biphasic pattern appears in historical documents worldwide until the Industrial Revolution imposed rigid schedules. The 8-hour rule? Factory scheduling convenience, not biological necessity. Forcing yourself to sleep 8 hours when you need 6 causes social jet lag. Disrupting natural rhythms. Studies on hunter-gatherer tribes show diverse sleep patterns averaging 6.5 hours. They have lower insomnia rates than industrialized societies obsessed with 8 hours. Quality matters more than quantity. 6 hours of deep sleep beats 8 hours of disrupted sleep. Sleep trackers often worsen sleep by creating anxiety about hitting arbitrary targets. Number 15, organic food is always healthier. Stanford's massive meta-analysis of 237 studies found no significant nutritional difference between organic and conventional produce. Vitamin content, identical. Protein, same. The tiny differences found were clinically meaningless. Organic farming uses pesticides too. Just natural ones that can be more toxic than synthetic alternatives. Copper sulfate, organic, is more toxic than glyphosate, synthetic. Rotenone, organic, causes Parkinson's in farm workers. Natural doesn't mean safe. Nature produces the deadliest poisons known. Organic yields are 20 to 25% lower, requiring more land and resources. The health difference? Mostly in your wallet. Organic costs 47% more on average. E. coli outbreaks often trace to organic farms using manure. The environmental impact is complex. Organic uses less energy but more land. Some conventional practices are problematic, but organic isn't automatically better. The label is marketing masquerading as health advice. Number 14, expiration dates mean food is unsafe. Except for baby formula, these dates are manufacturer suggestions for peak quality, not safety deadlines. Best by, sell by, use by. All arbitrary marketing terms with no legal standards. Americans waste $165 billion in perfectly good food yearly following these meaningless dates. The dating system started in the 1970s for stock rotation, not consumer safety. Most foods last weeks or months past, printed dates if stored properly. Canned goods last years. Dry pasta, rice, and honey last essentially forever. Your senses evolved over millions of years to detect spoiled food. Trust them over arbitrary stamps. Milk often lasts a week past its date. Eggs last 3 to 5 weeks past dates. Hard cheeses last months. The most dangerous foods, leafy greens and sprouts, often lack dates entirely. Real food safety involves temperature control and contamination prevention, not calendar watching. Yet people throw out tons of safe food while keeping actually risky items. Number 13. You need to warm up your car in winter. Modern engines warm up faster while driving gently than idling. Idling wastes gas, creates pollution, damages your engine, and in many places it's illegal. When you idle, fuel doesn't combust completely, creating residue that strips oil from cylinders and contaminates oil. Engines since the 1980s have fuel injection and computer controls that adjust mixture instantly. They don't need warming like carbureted engines did. Driving gently warms all components, transmission, differential, wheel bearings, that idling doesn't touch. The only reason to idle? Defrosting windows for visibility, which takes 30 seconds to 3 minutes max. That 20-minute warm-up? You're just burning money and damaging your engine. In fact, extended idling in cold weather can cause fuel dilution in oil, reducing lubrication. Mechanics see more engine damage from excessive idling than from cold starts. Yet the myth persists from outdated 1950s advice. Number 12. Antibiotics help with colds and flu. This misunderstanding creates antibiotic-resistant superbugs killing 35,000 Americans yearly and sickening 2.8 million alumni. Antibiotics only work on bacteria. Colds and flu are viruses. Antibiotics do absolutely nothing except damage your microbiome and create resistance. It's like using a wrench on a software problem. Studies show 30 to 50% of antibiotics are prescribed unnecessarily, mostly for viral infections. Patients pressure doctors who capitulate despite knowing better. Taking unnecessary antibiotics weakens their effectiveness for when you actually need them for bacterial infections. You're literally evolving superbugs in your body. The myth persists because antibiotics were miracle drugs when introduced, and people want magic pills for every ailment. Some claim they prevent secondary infections. Studies show this is false for healthy adults. Antibiotics also cause side effects: diarrhea, yeast infections, allergic reactions. Save them for actual bacterial infections. Your cold will last 7 to 10 days regardless. Number 11. The Great Wall of China is visible from space. Astronauts confirm you can't see it without magnification. This myth predates space travel by centuries, appearing in 1754 writings. From low Earth orbit, 200 miles up, you can see airports, cities, highways, and even the large buildings, but not the wall. Why? It's only 20 feet wide and built from local materials that blend with terrain. It's like claiming you can see a fishing line from an airplane. The myth persists through textbook repetition and national pride. NASA tried photographing it from the ISS. Couldn't find it without coordinates. Chinese astronaut Yang Liwei disappointed his nation by confirming invisibility. You know what is visible? City lights, the pyramids? Barely. And greenhouse complexes in Spain. The wall is impressive for its 13,000-mile length, not width. From the moon? Forget it. You can barely see continents. Yet the myth appears in quiz shows as fact. Number 10. Different tongue areas taste different flavors. That tongue map in every textbook. Complete fiction from a mistranslated 1901 German paper by D.P. Hennig. He measured tiny variations in taste sensitivity, not exclusive zones. The mistranslation turned slight differences into absolute territories. Harvard psychologist Edwin Boring's 1942 book cemented the error. Truth. Taste buds detecting all 5 basic flavors are distributed across your entire tongue, soft palate, throat, and even esophagus. Try it yourself. Put salt anywhere on your tongue. Taste it? Case closed. Put sugar on the bitter-only back area, still sweet. Modern molecular biology shows each taste bud contains cells responding to multiple flavors. The myth persists because teachers use outdated materials and it seems logical. Different areas for different tastes. But taste doesn't work like that. We've known this was wrong since the 1970s, yet textbooks still print the bogus map. Your tongue is an equal opportunity taster. Number 9, humans have 5 senses. We have at least 21 senses, possibly more depending on classification. The 5 senses comes from Aristotle before we understood nervous systems. Here's what you're missing. Proprioception, body position, close your eyes and touch your nose. Equilibrioception, balance via inner ear. Thermoception, temperature. Nociception, pain, distinct from touch. Chronoception, time passage. Interoception, internal needs like hunger, thirst. Chemoreception, blood oxygen. CSF pH. Baroreception, blood pressure. Stretch receptors, lungs, bladder, stomach. Magnetoreception, possible but debated, and more. Each uses different receptors and neural pathways. The traditional 5 are just the obvious external ones. You're way more amazing than you thought. Your body constantly processes dozens of sensory inputs you're not consciously aware of. Lose proprioception and you can't walk without watching your feet. Yet schools still teach 5 senses like it's 350 BCE. Number 8, vitamin C prevents colds. Linus Pauling's 1970 book Vitamin C and the Common Cold spawned a billion-dollar industry based on flawed research. He claimed massive doses prevented colds. Problems: cherry-picked data, ignored contradicting studies, and had financial interests in supplement companies. Massive meta-analyses of 29 studies covering 11,000 people show vitamin C doesn't prevent colds in normal populations. It might shorten colds by 8 hours. For that tiny benefit, people megadose on expensive supplements risking kidney stones and diarrhea, the only group showing prevention benefits. Extreme athletes and people in subarctic conditions, about 0.01% of supplement buyers. Regular intake doesn't help more than starting when sick. Yet Americans spend $1.5 billion yearly on vitamin C supplements. Eating an orange provides plenty. Your body can't absorb megadoses anyway, creating expensive urine. The myth persists through aggressive marketing and appeal to authority. Pauling had 2 Nobel Prizes, but even geniuses can be wrong outside their expertise. Number 7, you need to drink cow's milk. Humans are the only species drinking another mammal's milk past infancy, and only recently in evolutionary terms. 65% of humans are lactose intolerant. That's the normal state. Lactase persistence evolved only 7,500 years ago in some populations. The dairy industry spent billions convincing us we need cow growth hormones, meant for 65-pound calves to become 600-pound cows in months. Got milk? Was brilliant marketing, not health advice. Countries with highest dairy consumption have highest osteoporosis rates. Asian populations consuming minimal dairy have stronger bones. Why? Dairy's high protein content creates metabolic acid, forcing calcium loss through urine. Plant sources provide calcium without acid load. The myth that dairy is essential ignores most of human history and most current humans thriving without it. Dairy can be nutritious for those who tolerate it, but essential? That's industry propaganda. We don't need milk any more than we need Beetlejuice or pangolin tears. Number 6, microwaves destroy nutrients. Every cooking method reduces some nutrients. That's what heat does. But microwaves actually preserve more nutrients than most methods because of shorter cooking times and less water use. The radiation fear? Microwaves use non-ionizing radiation, like visible light or radio waves, just different frequency, 2.45 GHz. It can't alter molecular structure or make food radioactive. It just makes water molecules vibrate, creating heat. Studies comparing cooking methods show microwaved vegetables retain more vitamins than boiled, steamed, or fried. Vitamin C, particularly heat-sensitive, survives better in microwaves. The myth stems from radiation, sounding scary and naturalistic fallacy. Cornell studies found microwaved spinach retained 77% of folate versus 27% when boiled. Bacon has fewer carcinogenic nitrosamines when microwaved versus pan-fried. The only danger? Uneven heating creating cold spots in thick foods. Your food isn't less nutritious or dead, it's just heated differently. Number 5. You should drink 8 glasses of water daily. This rule has zero scientific origin, but costs Americans $100 billion yearly on bottled water, often just filtered tap water in plastic bottles. It came from a 1945 Food and Nutrition Board recommendation stating, a suitable allowance of water for adults is 2.5 liters daily. But everyone ignored the next sentence. Most of this quantity is contained in prepared foods. Food provides substantial water. Cucumber is 96% water, chicken breast 65%, bread 35%. Coffee and tea count. The diuretic effect is minimal compared to water content. Beer under 4% alcohol provides net hydration. Your body brilliantly regulates hydration through multiple mechanisms. Thirst, kidney function, and hormones like vasopressin maintain perfect balance. Forcing water when not thirsty dilutes electrolytes and can cause hyponatremia. Athletes have died from overhydration. The myth persists through bottled water marketing and misunderstanding of basic physiology. Trust your thirst. It evolved over millions of years. It works. Number 4. Left brain, right brain personality types. Brain scans show both hemispheres work together for all tasks. Creativity, logic, language, math, everything. The myth came from 1960s split brain research on severe epilepsy patients who had corpus callosum severed. Roger Sperry's Nobel-winning work showed hemispheres have specializations, but in normal brains they constantly communicate via 200 million nerve fibers. Popular psychology twisted this into rigid personality types. Right-brained creative or left-brained logical. Pure fiction. Brain imaging shows artists using logical left regions and mathematicians using creative right regions. Creativity requires whole brain integration. The myth sells personality tests, workshops, and books, but has zero neuroscience support. It's like saying you're a left lung breather. Both sides work together. Real neuroscience shows individual differences in connectivity patterns, not hemisphere dominance. The false binary limits human potential by making people believe they're inherently bad at certain skills. You're not left or right-brained, you're whole-brained. Number 3, natural is always better. Arsenic is natural. So is uranium, cyanide, botulinum toxin, and deadly nightshade. Meanwhile, life-saving insulin, antibiotics, and vaccines are synthetic. The naturalistic fallacy kills people when they refuse modern medicine for natural alternatives. Natural vitamin E is identical to synthetic at the molecular level. Your body can't tell the difference. Many synthetic drugs are safer than natural versions because we remove toxic components. Aspirin improved on willow bark by isolating the active ingredient without stomach-destroying compounds. Nature isn't trying to help you. Plants evolve toxins to not be eaten. We test synthetics extensively for safety. Natural products often escape scrutiny. The supplement industry exploits this fallacy for billions in sales. Foxglove is natural and contains heart medication digitalis, but eating the plant will kill you. Precise synthetic doses save lives. Nature is amoral chemistry, not your friend. The myth persists through marketing and misunderstanding evolution. Number 2, follow your passion for career success. Studies show passion typically follows mastery, not vice versa. Stanford research found follow your passion advice causes career anxiety, unrealistic expectations, and job dissatisfaction. Most successful people developed passion after becoming skilled through deliberate practice. Pre-existing passions rarely match viable careers. How many professional video game players or food critics does society need? Cal Newport's research shows craftsman mindset, developing rare, valuable skills, beats passion mindset for career satisfaction. Skills create value. Value creates opportunities. Opportunities create passion. The myth persists because it feels romantic and sells career books. Reality. 84% of college students' passions are sports, arts, or helping people. Crowded fields with limited opportunities. Meanwhile, unsexy fields like logistics or enterprise software desperate for talent. Better advice? Develop rare skills in growing fields. Passion often follows competence. Steve Jobs wasn't passionate about computers initially. He was into Zen Buddhism. Passion grew from success. Number 1, you must own your home to build wealth. This rule costs people millions over their lifetime through opportunity costs, maintenance nightmares, and financial inflexibility. Homeownership often returns less than simple index fund investing when you factor in all costs. Mortgage interest, often doubling purchase price. Property taxes, forever. Maintenance, 1 to 3% annually. Insurance, HOA fees, utilities, and opportunity cost of down payment. Example, $300,000 home with 20% down. That $60,000 invested in index funds historically returns 10% annually. After 30 years, $1,047,000. Meanwhile, your home might appreciate to $800,000, but subtract $300,000 in interest, $150,000 in taxes, $200,000 in maintenance, $60,000 in insurance. Net gain? Maybe $90,000. The renter investing the difference comes out $957,000 ahead. But the real estate industry spending $100 million yearly on lobbying doesn't want you knowing that. They've convinced generations that renting is throwing money away, while ignoring that mortgage interest, taxes, and maintenance are equally gone forever. Home ownership makes sense for stability and forced savings for those who won't invest otherwise. But optimal wealth building? Often it's a trap disguising liabilities as assets. The American dream? Sometimes it's actually an American debt nightmare keeping middle-class families from true wealth, building through diversified investments. Houses are lifestyle choices, not investments. And that's okay if you understand the true cost. So there you have it. 50 common sense rules that make absolutely zero sense when you actually examine the evidence. Follow the money and think critically. Which one shocked you the most? Which myths are you still following? Comment below, and if this video opened your eyes, share it with someone still following these nonsense rules. Remember to question everything, even common sense, because today's obvious truth might be tomorrow's debunked myth. The real common sense? Think for yourself, demand evidence, and never stop questioning what everyone knows to be true.